Hello and welcome to the Random Wrestling Revue and our local to global series, where, as you left us before we went off air in the last episode, we were just about to do Luck of the Draw 2000, and it had some big happenings which we're just about to go through as we run the show. But I'm kind of happy that we didn't go ahead with this in the last episode because there were a couple of things that I kind of forgot, and also after kind of thinking about things as well, wanted to add. So there's one more angle I'm going to add to this show, and it's just a small one, reasonably innocuous. Before the tag team match, where basically James Storm tells Bruce Hart that it's time they resolved the issues between them. And again, I'll go into a bit more detail about that um, when I run through the show. But the main reason I did this, or the main thing that led me to doing this, is that I realized we hadn't updated that story between Bruce Hart and James Storm for a couple of months. And so I felt like we needed to add something to it. But the other thing I need to do, of course, is actually sort out some of these storylines, because we have got a couple of things happening. I mean, ultimately and obviously, we need to put in Buddy Wayne versus Billy Kidman, which is coming because Kidman is going to turn on Buddy Wayne in this show. So we need to put that one in. We also need, I'm going to clear the decks of this because I feel like we've finished this story, but we're going to add CM Punk to the Rebellion ? In here. So certainly they can be the main. In fact, we can put everybody who's involved in this story in here. So that's good. We will. Yeah, that's fine. I think those are the two stories I needed to add for the time being. I think they're the main ones that we needed to put in place. I'm just going to check a couple of things before we go any further. So, first thing I'm going to do here is I've already got Kib. Have I got Kibben set to turn? Yes. We are now going to set CM Punk to turn as well. And we really are going for it here. So he's now prepared to turn. And we're going to do the same with James Storm. So this is quite out of character, I think, for me to have so many turns going on at once, especially Punk and James Storm, two of the biggest stars and highest performing stars in the company, both switching at some point to the babyface side of the roster. But I've got some plans in place that I think are going to be good, and I'm looking forward to sort of executing them over the next, I think, 4 or 5 episodes of this series, and certainly over the next 6-7 events in the company's history. So that's all kind of going to happen. It's not going to happen obviously now. We're not going to turn in Punk or James Storm soon, or at least not in this episode. But we are preparing them both for turns, and we are of course turning Billy Kidman on this show in the main event. So let's run through Luck of the Draw. Finally, you'll be very pleased to know we're going to do it. I'm just going to check the booking analysis. We're all good. We're not going to be penalized. We've got a lot of angles here, but we're not going to be penalized for that. So here we go. So in front of 147 paying customers for Luck of the Draw, it begins with Dave Bautista coming out angrily at the start of the show. And he says that, he's fed up of this stuff with Mark Henry and Shawn Stasiak. He knows that Mark Henry has already been drawn against him for tonight's title match. And rather than him wait for the main event for that match, he wants it right now to start the show. Mark Henry comes out and looking kind of menacing, and we are set for our first match of the night, which will be for the Northwest title between Dave Bautista and Mark Henry. This got a segment rating of 48, so a really good start to the show, despite Bautista being poor when trying to improvise dialogue. Maybe we just need to script him in the future, though we haven't been great at remembering to do that, and to be honest, it's not costing us anything at this point in time anyway. Then Dave Bautista versus Mark Henry for the title was not an especially good match, a 31 rating, which is a shame, I think, because these two are not great at sort of dictating a decent story to a match, or keeping some, the flow to the match going, because their in-ring performance was good. 42 for Batista, Mark Henry for 38. Just a lack of, I guess, kind of ring generalship if that's a word, to this one. But Batista wins in 10:57 when Mark Henry is disqualified. When, as Batista appears to have Henry beat, Sean Stasiak comes out and attacks Batista. Batista's now made 4 defenses of the Northwest title during this reign. After the match, Mark Henry and Sean Stasiak continue their attack on Dave Batista. Buddy Wayne runs down to try and help Batista, but he too gets knocked down and beaten up as well. So a segment rating here of 44 as Henry and Stasiak leave Batista and Buddy Wayne lying in the ring. Then we have a 6-man tag match. Ace Steel, Barry Buchanan, and CM Punk take on C.W. Anderson, Teddy Hart, and Eric Young. Steel, Buchanan, and Punk won the match when Barry Buchanan pinned Eric Young with an axe kick. CM Punk was very good again, a in-ring performance of 48. Barry Buchanan 36. Ace Steel at 37. In fact, Teddy Hart and C.W. Anderson were also pretty good. Eric Young just at 29, but that's not terrible. CM Punk begins to foreshadow his face turn during this segment, and this begins our feud with CM Punk to the Rebellion. And CM Punk was also off his game, so a lot of notes about CM Punk there. Segment rating though of 45, a really, really good match. And from this, afterwards, Ace Steel grabs a microphone and he tells CM Punk that tonight he has worked really well with him and Barry Buchanan. They've been successful in this a 6-man tag match and they've won the contest. And he says that he can think of nobody else in the Random Wrestling Revue that is more worthy of joining the Rebellion than CM Punk. And he offers him the vacant spot in the Rebellion, left, of course, by ECMO's departure from the company and the Rebellion kicking him out of the group. He tells CM Punk not to give him an answer now, to take away this offer, think about it for a couple of weeks, and come back next time with an answer for them. So a segment rating of 41, a pretty good segment this. Ace Steel struggled when going off script, but this has really set this story in motion now. Then we have Dan Severn versus Sean Stasiak in a match that went 7 minutes 37 seconds and was won by Stasiak by pinfall. Actually, a really good segment, a 46 rated segment. Dan Severn only a 31 in-ring performance, but Sean Stasiak a 46. It was a storytelling contest, which meant that Severn wasn't wasn't gassed during this one. He was still, still had energy to go by the end of the contest. And Stasiak does really shine in short storyline driven matches, which is what this was. So segment rating of 46, a very nice contest indeed. And Stasiak picks up another valuable win. Rex King then faced Keith Hart in a match that went 9 minutes and 18 seconds. Remembering, of course, all of the luck of the draw matches are randomly drawn. So it's not based on anything but a random drawing. But Rex King gets the victory here. After using a foreign object, but Rex King secures himself, I believe, his 9th win in the rankings after this one. A segment rating of 38. You can see here, Rex King had a 38 performance. Keith Hart just a 25, and he was also visibly tiring towards the end. And all this is fine because this is exactly what we're expecting from Keith Hart. He is very much on the kind of journey towards the end of his time with the Random Wrestling Revue, as are 1 or 2 other wrestlers, by the way. So we go into sort of the big match of the night and the main event segments. And it starts with James Storm coming to the ring with Chris Harris and Woman, and him grabbing a microphone and saying that it is time that James Storm and Bruce Hart got in a room together and resolved their issues. He says he's been on a rolling 1-month contract now for 3 months. He says that he's one of the tag team champions. He's one of the top ranked wrestlers in the rankings, and the situation just can't go on any longer. And he says he's willing to be, fair about this. He's willing to accept that they've both done wrong, and that something needs to stop, because as it is, things are just silly, and it's impacting the fidelity of the competition in the Random Wrestling Revue as Bruce Hart keeps trying to put opponents in their path to get the tag team titles off of them. Now, James Storm was fantastic in this segment, way better than I was, by the way. Massive job of improvising interactions with the crowd. A segment rating of 45, a very good way to begin the main event portion of the show. Excuse me. Then we have the main event for the Northwest Tag Team titles, the Mavericks getting a successful defense of the belts in 14:36 when James Storm's beat up Buddy Wayne so badly that the referee had to stop the match. So you'll remember that Buddy Wayne was attacked earlier in the night, along with Batista, by Mark Henry and Shawn Stasiak, and he carries that injury into this match. He's selling the injury as he comes to the ring, and during the course of the match, Kidman tries to carry it for them, but needs to give the tag to Buddy Wayne, and then the Mavericks focus on Buddy Wayne's injury, and the referee decides that is enough, and he decides to end the match via stoppage due to injury to Buddy Wayne. The Mavericks' third defense of the tag team titles, for a segment rating of 47, so a really good match. Buddy Wayne was actually off his game during this one, which is a disappointment. So this could have been even better. James Storm, though, a 48 in-ring performance, and Chris Harris a 39. Buddy Wayne still a 40, so really, really good stuff. Then after the match, frustrated by the loss and angry with his partner, Billy Kidman attacks Buddy Wayne, goes after the already hurt Buddy Wayne, his injury being the reason why they lost the match, and Kidman decides to go after that very same injury and turns heel in the process. And the turn was a complete success. So Billy Kidman has turned on but his mentor, Buddy Wayne, the man who sponsored him to stay in the company when Billy Kidman lost the match to CM Punk about a year and a half ago. And he's gone rogue. And we hope that there will be an explanation coming in the future. And that is the show, an overall rating of 46. Very, very good show. Some really excellent matches. Obviously, the main event was a 47. Shawn Stasiak versus Dan Severn was a 46. The six-man tag match was a 45. There was also some really good angles here with the Batista and Mark Henry opening angle plus the attack afterwards, both over 40 in terms of their ratings. Ace Steel's offer to CM Punk was a 41. The James Storm interview where he kind of reached out to with an olive branch effectively to Bruce Hart to resolve the issues between them, a 45. Very, very good all around. Difficult to know where to put our praise, to be honest. I'm not absolutely sure. I think we're going to go with Dave Batista because he's been just consistently very good as of late. I think I'm also going to give Shawn Stasiak a compliment because he was really good. And I think, as always, James Storm deserves a compliment too because he is just, usually the top performer or one of the top performers in the company. Now, obviously, the last episode we did was a bit of a whirlwind, to be honest, because we had all things going on, and Charlie Haas being injured was one of the big ones. 6 months effectively out. Rex King is not happy with how he's been booked recently, even though he did just win a match. So I don't know what your problem is. So far, Rex King has been involved in 15 matches. He's won 8 of them and lost 7. 50-50 booking almost with him, which I guess he might think he's more popular than that and deserves more. But I think that's reasonably fine. WWF rejection here. Aldo Montoya moving on his way out of WWF through no choice of his own after the company decided not to renew his contract. So Just Incredible might be coming on the market for somebody to snap up. I should imagine he's too expensive for me, but that's fine because I don't have particularly a drive to use Just Incredible. You never know. Let's just have a quick look at the top 100 before we move on. So Luck of the Draw is the second best show of all time. And again, the last 5 shows we've done now are all lining up behind the Golden Triangle Tournament. In fact, the last 8 shows that we've done from RWR 50 all the way through. Oh no, that was last year, RWR 50. Apologies for that. But nearly the last 7 shows we've done are all in the top 10. I mean, I think 7 of the last 8 shows we've done are in the top 10. Sorry for that. That was probably really annoying for everybody watching me try to get to grips with that. And then in terms of the 100 best matches in company history, well, nothing hugely massive hit the top 10 from that show. But we did get here Mavericks, Buddy Wayne and Billy Kidman's 47 rated match is the 12th best in company history. I imagine, we got another one here. The 6-man tag match was the 19th best in company history. And I imagine there will be one not too much further down because there were some good matches on that show. I'm not seeing it yet, though. So, okay. Well, it's not a big deal because that was another very good show for us. In terms of titles, let's have a look. The Northwest title. Batista's currently got 4 defenses. He's also the man who holds the record for the most number of defenses during a title reign, with 10 with his first title reign. This time he's up to 4 so far. Some good matches, though that was not his best by a long way. But I'm really pleased, actually, given the quality of that match, that wasn't the main event. The main event was the tag team title match, which sees the Mavericks get their 3rd defense, which is the equal record, along with the Bad Crew and with the Samoan Violence Connection and with Red Alert. So 4 different teams now have managed 3 defenses of this title. One more, though, and the Mavericks will be on top. And look at this run of matches from really Red Alert against Powers of Pain. Back in February, the tag team titles have been defended in really high quality matches, pretty much exclusively. No dross there whatsoever. So we've got a new heel in Billy Kidman. We've got new stories kicking off, and I have already figured out what we're going to do for the next show. Did I tweak Sean Stasiak's gimmick? I think I must have done, because he's not. He's not. He didn't get the warning again. So let's go to the next player-controlled show, because there's nobody that I'm looking to sign for this one, though there may be for the following event. So I think we could see some new arrivals start to steadily flow into the company. I'm going to reveal now that I have got plans for 3 different people to leave the company. And when I say plans, they are very much in my head. They're not written down. I've not planned out a timeline for them. I've just kind of got a vague idea of what's going to happen. But we are going to reveal 2 of them when we book the next show. I don't know if we'll get to see the next show, see me actually go through the next show. In fact, I don't even know if we've set up the next show, so I'm going to have to stop the multi-advance. Oh, goodness me, we've had a problem. We've lost the game. I'll be back in a moment. So sorry about that. We are back now. I don't know what happened there. I mean, I do know what happened. I was trying to interrupt the multi-advance because I wanted to make sure we had a show booked, which we do not, of course, for week 4 of October. And so we need to add a new event. I don't know what this is going to be called, actually. We haven't got a name for it. So we're going to do the suggest the name. I think that's probably what we're going to do. Just not going to be an annual event, this one. Monday, week 4 of October. We'll just check the availability of that date. No, we've got a number of guys out, actually, working for ECW. So we're going to shift this to Sunday of week 3, because otherwise we're going to have too many clashes. That will work for Sunday of week 3. So what we're going to call this, not writing on the wall, circus, something about circus I quite liked. Black Sabbath, Night of Legends, Brutal Vengeance, Brutal Circus. I don't know. Passing the torch, Iron Circus. Let's just call it that. I know that's terrible. I don't even care. It's not important what the show's called. It's more about what happens on it that matters. Although I do like to come up with some good names sometimes, but I haven't got the time to worry about that too much today. So let's just check then. We've got. Sorry, what am I doing? I'm pressing the wrong buttons here. I'm all a dither because of the game stopping there. Actually, I just did want to check in on the finances. At the moment, we're running at a profit this month. We'll see if that lasts till the end of the month. So let's continue to the next player-controlled show and run the next show. Now, what I was going to do is bring you, and actually, interestingly, you saw, I think, at the end of that recording, possibly, the graphic that I put on the video for the last show, which is funny. So here it is. That was for the last episode. But I wanted to look at the rankings, which is here. And specifically, these are the rankings as they stood before Luck of the Draw, actually. So I haven't included the rankings for what took place there. But ultimately, CM Punk won his match, and so did James Storm. Billy Kidman lost. So CM Punk and James Storm are the top 2 competitors for the title. And so the main event at Iron Circus is going to be Batista versus CM Punk for the title. Punk is going to get his opportunity, the first opportunity since, I believe, the Christmas show last year. So nearly a year he's had to wait for another opportunity at that title. I mean, look, that is the reality of our ranking system, and the way this company works is if you don't take advantage of your title shot, it can be a very long time before you get another. And I just think it makes the title matches feel more important for the individuals involved, as well as for the crowds, obviously. We've got a pay rise request from Chemo here. He's already, I think, the top earner. In fact, he wants $960 per appearance. Now, we're not going to give him that much, but we're still going to up his rate to nearly 900 with this. Maybe need to start thinking about how long we're going to keep Chemo. Barry Buchanan's left Smoky Mountain Wrestling. That's fine. Yeah, let's just take a look at the contract, actually. I mean, I'm a bit annoyed that Buddy Wayne hasn't once asked for a pay rise. I think he's still really reasonably low. Why can't I see him? He doesn't appear. There he is. Buddy Wayne, still making $60 per show. He's one of our top stars. You would think that he would be looking for a pay rise by now, but he's not. Jim Neidhart, I'm starting to even kind of a little bit regret signing him to this ongoing deal, because I actually haven't got any plans for him. I just thought we probably would use him again because he is one of the Hart family after all. But yeah, other than him, Chemo's our top paid guy now, $894 per show, which is quite a lot given the financial restrictions we've always had on ourselves. But not too worried about that at the moment. We'll take a look at that again if needs be. But we are here ready for the next show, the Iron Circus, which I'm actually starting to like as a name, to be honest. In the minute or two since the game effectively generated it, at least me combining two of the game's generated names, I've actually started to enjoy it a little bit more. So let's go into the next show then and start to book it. I can't guarantee we're going to do this today because we're already about 20 minutes in. Oh, hang on. It's not happened. What's going on? It's tonight. That's fine. As I said, I'm still feeling a little bit all over the place thanks to what just happened with the game kind of closing on me. In Your House took place. So let's have a look at this. Bret Hart defeated Goldust and The Undertaker to retain the World Heavyweight title in a 100 rated match. So Bret Hart back at the top of WWF in the year 2000. Owen Hart defeated The Big Show in a 96 rated match. The second match, Diesel and Shawn Michaels against Yokozuna and Lex Luger and Dean Douglas and Rey Mysterio Jr., only got an 86 rating, which is largely down to the presence of Luger and Mysterio, who was really off his game here. He's usually much better than that. But in general, WWF continues to be very healthy, using the likes of Bret still at the top of the company. And the Psycho Ward won the tag team titles there. Was that in that match? No, that was the next one. The Psycho Ward are Bob Holly and Savio Vega, I think. Or is that Road Warrior and Steve Austin? Who knows? Animal and Steve Austin could be. I think it is. Animal and Steve Austin. Fine. Now that's that. But to say WWF seem to be in good shape. We are in good shape too, though, and we're going to move on, as I said, to Iron Circus, which is next up. Absent workers, still Charlie Haas, out injured, will be for a long time. Not really sure how we're going to reintegrate him back into the fold, but we don't need to worry about that for some time yet. So let's start to book this. I think we're going to end up in a very similar situation as we ended the last episode, which is effectively all ready to go, but with no time to actually run the show, which I apologize for, but that's just where we're going to be. So we're going to start this one up with Ace Steel, and he's going to be obviously flanked by Barry Buchanan and Chemo, the other two members of the Rebellion, and he is going to offer PM. He's going to ask Punk now to give an answer. So Steel tells Punk it's time for his answer. Punk respectfully turns them down. Make this a reasonably long segment as well. So Steele's going to ask, he's going to come out at the top, start of the show. He's going to say that it's time for the answer from CM Punk. CM Punk's going to come out. He's going to say that, that whilst he appreciates what Ace Steel and others are trying to do with the Rebellion, he is not interested in forging alliances. He's been very much a guy who's stood on his own 2 feet since coming into the Random Wrestling Revue and doesn't see any reason for that to change. So then the opening contest of the match is going to be Dan Severn versus Rex King. And in this one, I'm going to make it 9 minutes. Rex King is going to win. We're going to get another, we'll give it a flash pinfall victory. We don't need to go too far in burying Dan Severn. He doesn't really have the stamina for the match, but we're going to go with it anyway. Then after the match, we're going to have Dan Severn on the microphone in a rare moment. And he is going to basically say in this promo that tonight is his last with RWR. So it's official from me. We're going to make it 6 minutes. That's fine. I think ultimately he's been a good servant of the company. He's obviously came in, won the championship in his first night in, had some good matches as champion, and held the belt well for I think 8 defenses in the end, which is the second best reign we've had in company history. In fairness, but I just don't really have anything left for Dan Severn to do. Also, his in-ring ability isn't that great. Plus, he's got no stamina. So, in general, he doesn't hold a lot of value for the company going forward. And I don't know if he's on a lot of money. I don't think he is actually. Dan Severn here, 200 per show. 200 per show is quite a lot for someone we really aren't that interested in taking forward much further. So yeah, that's going to be it for Dan Severn. But still, somebody that is significant in terms of our history now, given his status as one of the previous champions of the company. So next we're going to have a tag team match. Is Ace Steel and Barry Buchanan versus Keith Hart and Teddy Hart. And in this one, make it go 12 minutes. It's going to be a win for Ace Steel. He's going to pin Keith Hart. We've had this match a few times recently, or not recently, but we've had this match before in the past. Pinfall finish is how it's going to go. A victory for the Rebellion. Again, Keith Hart, warnings about his stamina, and almost very, very similar to what we just saw. Keith Hart is also going to talk. And he's going to talk to Teddy this time. And what's going to happen is Keith Hart tells Teddy he's ready to make his own way. Says and he intends to retire at season's beatings. So Keith Hart, another lengthy kind of talking segment here where he's basically going to tell Teddy Hart that Teddy is ready to go and make his own way in the wrestling industry. You remember the story we've been on with Teddy since he's come into the company, really, is that Keith and Bruce have been trying to introduce him to the wrestling world in a kind of as gently as they can. And now Keith Hart's telling Teddy that, he's ready to go out and do his own thing. And he, in the meantime, he wants to retire, much like his brother did about a year ago. So then we're going to have Billy Kidman in his first match as a heel, taking on Eric Young. Unsurprisingly, maybe. Obviously, it was Billy Kidman walking out on Eric Young about 2 shows ago that sort of suggested Billy Kidman was on this trajectory. Billy Kidman's going to win it in an all-out match. Pinfall victory. That's how that one's going to go. Then after the match, Billy Kidman is going to get on the mic. And what we're saying here is that Buddy Wayne, basically the injury that he picked up during the Luck of the Draw, has kept him out of action. He's not in the building for this event. But Billy Kidman says that Wayne cost him his opportunity at Gold. Says he hopes the injury is worth it. So this is Billy Kidman explaining his actions from the previous show, and also kind of just making it clear why Buddy Wayne is not around for this show. Then another one-on-one contest. It's going to be Chemo against C.W. Anderson next. And this is really just to use both of these guys. Chemo gets a win against Anderson. We don't really know what we're going to do with C.W. Anderson at this time either, because Anderson obviously has not got his partner at the moment, Charlie Haas, as would have been the case. otherwise. We're going to have another angle next. We're kind of a little bit burying ourselves in angles here. We may have to go back and revise some of this. But Bruce Hart is going to come out, address James Storm, and also announce. No, that'll do. Actually, we don't need anything else here. So Bruce Hart tells Storm there's no room for negotiation. I hope he enjoys his latest challenge. So you can kind of see here that we're doing a bit of a double turn. So I'm actually going to put that in motion as well. Bruce Hart to turn heel. Well, we really are turning people all over the place here, and it feels a little bit uncomfortable to me. But I think if you were watching, this would feel a little bit more gradual than it feels right now, because it feels like I'm doing it all at once. But actually, I did the Kim heel turn in the last episode. So this Bruce Hart heel turn, it's not due to happen just yet. But this is the sort of sense that I've just felt like, as I've been telling this story, that it's felt more and more as if Bruce Hart feels like the heel because he's the authority figure and he keeps trying to effectively screw James Storm out of victories. But the only reason he's doing it is because obviously he has an issue with what James Storm did some time ago. But it's got to the point now where it feels like actually it's vindictive, and maybe Bruce Hart's becoming the bad guy of the situation. And he says he hopes they enjoy the challenge that they've got next. That's because they have got a real challenge in Mark Henry and Sean Stasiak. This is heel versus heel tag team. I'm going to make it 13 minutes. I might even make it longer. Now, I'll make it 13 minutes. And I think this is obviously Henry and Stasiak receiving a title shot because of their win in the Super Summer Tag Team Extravaganza. But Chris Harris and James Storm are going to come through with this one. They are going to come through with the victory in this one. We'll make this the storytelling match because we don't have one elsewhere on the show. And we are over time now, but I'm just going to finish off the booking at least for this show. So before the main event, actually we'll have this all acting. Before the main event, Bruce Hart tells Henry and Stasiak any interference. Sorry, they are banned from ringside. So I think what we'll have is almost. Actually, we do need them to. We do need someone to say something, so I'm going to keep it to entertainment. But yeah, effectively, this is after the match, after they've just lost in the tag team title match. Mark Henry and Sean Stasiak sort of indicate that they're going to stay at ringside for the main event. Bruce Hart comes out and basically tells them that they're banned from ringside for this next match, and if they show their faces at ringside for the next match, then they will be suspended. So we do have another match, and it is for the title, and it is obviously Dave Bautista versus CM Punk. Now, I don't know how many times they fought each other. I know that they did. Let's have a look at this. They have never faced each other in a singles match, these two. That is fascinating. This is the first ever singles match between CM Punk and Dave Bautista. And again, this is why I really like trying to make sure I don't repeat matches all the time, because you get these things like this where you're like, oh, they've never faced each other before. It's really cool. So yeah, CM Punk and Dave Bautista's first singles match against each other. It's going to be a full-on 15 minutes. We're going to go with slow build. And the victor, Dave Bautista. But it's not going to be quite as simple as that. Because in addition to getting the pinfall, this is going to be because of an outside interference finish. CM Punk is going to be cost the match by Ace Steel. So Ace Steel's basically this is his reaction to CM Punk turning down the rebellion. Punk is cost the title by Ace Steel. Dave Bautista retains the belt. And then after the match, we're gonna have a very short. We got the scope to do this. I think we just about have got the scope, but barely. In fact, I think I might leave that. I was going to put in another little angle where basically Punk looks on in disgust at the rebellion, realizing what's just happened. But I think we can just say that that's what happened as part of this final angle, this final match, this segment, and we're just about in with everything. There's going to be no penalties or anything. So we're going to leave it at that for now. That is today's episode. And obviously, when we come back, we will play this show out properly and give you all the proper explanations for all the angles and whatnot. And yeah, thanks for watching. And apologies for the sort of strange thing that happened in the middle of this one. If you enjoyed today's episode, please give us a like. And if you are following along with the series and you haven't yet done so, please hit the subscribe button to join us as we continue on with this epic, epic series. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you next time.